In this video, we're going to continue to talk about the interface of Rhino 7, and we're going to see how we can manage and how we can customize a little bit the interface and the document that we are working on, but also the whole software here. So first of all, let's just create a new file. So I will go to File, New, and here you can see that I can select different templates. Now, this is a really important decision here because you need to understand what your project will be. So if you're planning to do, for example, a jewel, like jewelry or something really small, or perhaps a smartphone or any small product, you should go here with the small objects. Okay, here is telling me that I can use this for any object, any product, but it has to be smaller than a truck. And if I go in the large object centimeters, for example, so large objects template, now this is for objects that this are the size of a truck or larger. So for example, a house or a building, a skyscraper, or perhaps an entire city. Well, it doesn't say any more than this. Now, the two important things that you need to consider, well, actually, these are three if you are considering that you need to decide if you want to work with decimal, so meters and centimeters, or imperial, like feet, inches, and so on. So this is the first choice you need to do. Second thing, well, of course, is your units. If you are comfortable in working in centimeters, you can set this right now, but you can also change this later, and I will show you where. And also this one is pretty important because if I am doing a really big object like a truck or like a house, well, I don't care about the units smaller than a millimeter probably, because I don't need to be so precise. Now this is all about how the different tools will work, and they will be set for this type of tolerance, so they will be more careful when you need to do something really precise. You need to decrease this value. Well, just select millimeters, for example. You can see here that the tolerance is a lot below the millimeters. So this is really useful when you want to do something real precise, like a little engine or something like that. You want to be really precise. So you can limit your, let's say, error by decreasing the tolerance when you are, for example, building up a solid using different surfaces and so on. Okay, so let's go for this one. And also you can choose to use this file anytime Rhino starts again, Rhino. Okay, let's open it up. And that's it. This is our template. It's exactly as the other one. We can just start by creating some solids. For example, I can go here and create a simple sphere. Now you can see you have many different options to create objects, but we're going to also see that later. Now when you click the first time with your left mouse, it's gonna insert the sphere. Then it's gonna kind of rotate around. And if you want to have this a little bit more precise or vertical or horizontal, hold the Shift key and click, and you will see that will be perfectly placed here and not rotated. Okay, let's also create another object, and this time I'm going to use command bar. So I'm going to type here cone, and you can see here I have the command right here. You can also select different types of creation methods right here in the command bar, and again we're going to see this later on. So for example, well, I want to use tangent. So in this case I need to figure out where the curves are on this sphere. So for example, this is a curve, and I can click there, and yeah, probably that's the only curve that I can get from here, but you know, this is just an example. So I just want to create a cone that will be tangent. Okay, let's click there. Maybe that's another point I can use, and there you go. I will create this cone. Now another thing, I would probably change the style here for my viewport, going into shaded so I can see this better. But we're going to talk about the views later on. in another video. Now in this video we're going to concentrate on the interface and how we can customize it and change it a little bit. But let's also see something really important here. So when you have objects inside your scene, you can use your mouse in 3 different ways, which are, well, you can use it in many different ways actually, but with the 3 clicks of the 3 different buttons, you can get 3 important commands. The first one, with the left, you can select. And the second one, if you click the scroll wheel, this pop-up menu is going to appear. And you can see there what I just did. I just click here with the scroll wheel and then click on this really tiny bar. And this is expanding me the pop-up menu or pop-up toolbar. Now this is a really important tool because here I can insert all the commands that I like the most, and I don't need there to go here and search for them or go into the menus or type in the command. So this is a really useful tool in my opinion, one of my favorite. And with the left mouse, instead we're going to repeat the last command. So left mouse, select, middle mouse, pop-up menu, right mouse, repeat the last command. Now for example here, if I select this cone and I explode it, okay, now this is exploded. It's not a solid anymore, but it's 2 surfaces that are really close together. And again, the tolerance, it's about how these 2 will come together, closer or not so close, depending on the tolerance as well. So the tolerance defines anything, any object in the scene. Also, I will show you that later on in the properties. So pop-up menu, it's a really interesting thing. Now, one additional thing about the selection, when you have more objects that overlaps, especially in the 2D views, but also in 3D views, and you click in a point where they overlap actually, like that, you can see that it's gonna bring the selection menu. So this selection menu, it's another kind of pop-up menu, and it's gonna ask you, okay, what do you want to select? This surface or this one here? And this is really useful because when you have different things that overlaps, also in other software, it's really difficult to select one or the other. Here it's pretty simple. You're just gonna be prompt here to select one of these. And there you go. So I have surface, surface, surface. Now, yes, this is a surface, but it's a closed surface. This means that it's a solid in Rhino terminology. Okay, so let's get back to the pop-up again, which is really important. So you can see here, your pop-up probably won't look like mine because I've added 3 additional tools here or commands. Now, if I want to do that, I can go here to the option and I can create new buttons. I can also create a new separator, which is something that I want to do right now because I want to add some more commands. Now you can go from here by adding new buttons and customize that, but you can also do something really simpler, which is dragging and dropping stuff inside here. So by stuff I mean different icons, which means different commands. Now this is something that you're gonna customize little by little, understanding what are your favorite commands. So this is something that I will show you now, but you can, use it anytime. And when you figure out what are the best commands for you, you can just customize these multiple times. Now, if you want to add something, it's really simple. Just let's say that I like, let's do, for example, here, well, the box. So this is something that I usually do. It's creating box. So click Control, and you have to hold Control of your keyboard and then click this and drag it inside that toolbar. There you go. It's so easy. The magic key is Control or Command probably if you are using Mac. So Control or Command. Also here you can see I can click with these arrows and it's gonna open up this little secondary menu, and if I click in this gray bar again, it's gonna disconnect this so I can then use it. And for example, I want the sphere also. Control, click, drag, and place the sphere, and the cone, Control, drag, and so on. So you can see how this is getting really easy to use. There you go. So you can customize the pop-up menu or any other menu, any other toolbar, and add whatever you want. So for example, if you go here, let's say I can do a new button. Well, I'm gonna do something quick here. For example, I can say I want to edit here and call this, well, J, okay, B, doing something really awful here, but just to show you the tool. And then I can say, okay, what I want to insert here, well, maybe I want the history toolbar. So say okay, and this is the icon there, and that's the history toolbar that's gonna pop up. Okay, so it's pretty simple. Now if I want to get rid of that, I will click again here in the options, go to the edit buttons, go here and just click on the X icon, and I'm gonna remove this right away. So in the similar way, you can customize anything. I will not show you the most advanced things here, but if you are interested, you can always get here and customize it further and further. You can customize names and images and so on. But also in this video course, I'm gonna keep the standard things here so no one gets confused. Okay, now this one here, it's particular. I can close this, and again with the middle mouse or the pressing the scroll wheel, this is gonna appear. So this is really handy. This is, I think, more important than any other. But you can, just undock anything and you can leave it floating around like this. If you have a big screen, you can have a lot of panels floating around. You can also dock them by clicking and dragging. Anytime you see that purple line or stripe, you can place it there. There you go, and click on these two lines to undock it again and place it, for example, here. So you have really a lot of choices here how to customize your interface. Okay, now I have undocked the panels. These are similar to the toolbars, except that they are panels, but you can click this and drag it and place it in vertical or anywhere. And if I added more panels here, you probably are seeing less than this, but this is really simple. Just right click in an empty space or click on the little engine icon, and then you can choose which one you want to see or not see. For example, here, if I want grasshopper, I can open it up and add it. If I want to remove it, I can click, drag this outside. I can also place it next to that, click and drag again, undock it again, find another location, and so on. So also here, I can click this and place it outside, and then divide this column here into two parts. For example, layers is something that I usually use a lot, and it's a management tool that is really important. So usually I keep this undocked and always open, but again, I'm gonna keep the standard here just to not confuse anyone. Click here and drag it again in the layers panel if you want to bring in there, and then you can organize here. You can place this before or after. So you can see here that it's really easy to customize anything. And let's get into some more advanced stuff. This is possible by going into the options. You can click on this little engine icon again, or you can go to File and go to Properties. And here you will find all the document properties and the software properties or options. So these are properties, options, a little of this and a little of that. But essentially it's divided into two parts. Now the first part is the document. So what you're doing right here, right now. For example, here I'm setting up this particular document with V-Ray for Rhino. But if I want to change the render, I can go back to Rhino render. And this is the default. I'm gonna keep this for this video course. But if you want, you can find another course about V-Ray in the channel. So just look for that or write in the comments if you have issues in finding it, or if you want to ask any questions or anything that can be useful for other people, like suggestions. And also please subscribe to the channel, and if you want to support us a little bit more, please join. Okay, so we have here the settings for the render, we have the annotation styles, we have for example the grid, which is pretty important. It's the one that you see there on the construction plane. We will talk about all these, well, the most important things in the following videos. These are etches if you want to draw in 2D and create CAD drawing and like architectural drawings or product industrial design, product design. You can also set a location, especially if you are doing a project, architectural project, to have a particular position and a particular exposure to the sun. Okay, then you can go to the units. This is the one that we were talking about at the beginning of the video. So this is where you can change again the units. So I can change, for example, from millimeters to centimeters anytime. I can change my tolerance. You have the absolute tolerance, which also comes into play when you usually move objects or you scale them. And also the angle tolerance is pretty important because this is when you rotate. So if you want to have 1 degree interval in the various rotations, you can leave this. But if you want a lower value because you want to rotate it not only each 1 degree but less than that, you can change the tolerance right here anytime. And again, you have also other options here for the distance display and other stuff here. Okay, let's go to the Rhino options, and here are the settings for all the software. So for example here I can start change colors. So here the highlight color, maybe I can change this and make it, let's see, double click and change the highlight color and make it yellow instead of pink. Or I can, well, just scroll down here and you will find all the different actions that you can do. You can also search for, if you type the thing that you are looking for. And let's move real quick here. Appearance, again, you can change, for example, the interface text or the color when you select something. Again, I like yellow, so I'm going to use this for the hover color. You can change the font, you can change the size, you can change the language of the interface. There you go. Now you can see that it has become bigger, and well, a lot of stuff here. This is cycles, which is about Rhino render, is the render engine. Files, this is also important, where you want to save your backup file. Backup files are really important because they're gonna save your work. So you can, for example, here decrease the minutes or the interval in the autosave and the backup, and these are the folders where they're gonna be stored. You can change the folder. Well, also in general here, you can increase the commands that you can have and go back to. So the most recently commands, you can increase the number here if you want. Keyboard, also this is important, is showing you the different keys that you can use, and you can assign here a particular command. Libraries, this is, well, you have a default library that you can find here in the panels. Just search for the library panel. You will find materials and things like that, but we're going to see that talking about materials. And you can also have a customized folder for this. And then you have modeling aids, which we're going to talk about really in depth because are really important, like the grid or the snaps. And here you can turn them on and off, and again set other intervals here, for example for the ortho feature, which is pretty important to draw vertically and horizontally and our stuff. And mouse here also can change the way that you use your mouse. The plugins, you can deactivate some plugins that you don't use, or you can install new plugins like V-Ray, for example. And script, Rhino script, again, selection menu, toolbars. You can see here I have V-Ray for Rhino at the moment, but the rest it's all default, or you can create a new one and you can edit a lot of really advanced stuff that if you want to do, you can do it maybe later when you understand the full potential of the software. And you have views here. And again, we're going to talk about views in another video because they deserve their explanation. But here you have the panel with the views, OpenGL also. This is about your graphic card. And well, again, we're going to talk about views later. So anytime you can also click here and restore defaults. If you believe that you have done something strange, you can say, okay, reset to default. Okay, now it's telling me, yeah, your model units changed from millimeters to centimeters. So it's asking me if I want to scale the model or not. So if you want to keep the same size of the objects, you can say no. But if you want to scale not only the units, but also the models, you say yes. And these now have been scaled and they look a little bit smaller than before. Okay, so this will be all for this video guide and lesson. So if you enjoy it, please leave your comments. And again, subscribe to the channel and check our other guides and courses that you find in the channel. So thanks for watching and see you in the next video.